One important question to ask is, are you ready to join with us? See, since the pandemic and the economic crisis began, our church has been at work helping the vulnerable in our local community and the communities all around us. We've been feeding people, we've been working to help people make it through hard times, helping to pay rent and bills. We've also been doing a lot of direct care with people that are really struggling emotionally and spiritually in this time period. And there are ways that you can help us. If you live close by geographically and are able to, there are opportunities to work with us in different ways, to reach out and say, how can I help? How can I jump in and be a part of these ministries that are going on? And if you go to our website, you can find out more about how you can be plugged in to help people in your own local neighborhood. Now, if you live further afield, or if you simply are not able to do things more directly, there are also ways you can help us. By also going to our website and going to the Give Now page, you can help us help others. Now today we are celebrating communion. We are celebrating the life of a community coming together as one, being supported and nurtured by God. And if you don't already have it in front of you, go get the cup, go get bread, and join us as we begin this sacred time together. Now, the way in which God calls us together is something profound. It is something that is at the very heart of what it means to be community. That these relationships, sometimes in our families and our friendships, can be very difficult. And yet, there is a bond that is drawn between us, this bond of love. And there's no accident that in some of the epistles of the early church, we hear the phrase, God is love. That the power that binds us together is the very presence of the divine Spirit. And here in communion is where we actually celebrate that taking place. We celebrate that on the night that he was betrayed, Jesus prepared his followers to always have him with them. That every time that they would sit down to eat together, they would be reminded not only of him and of his ministry, but of his presence. And so every time that we come together, this is what we are doing. In all three of the first Gospels that were written, in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, we get the story. We also get it from Paul in 1 Corinthians. And in each of these, they tell the same story. They talk of Jesus and how on the night that he was betrayed, he sat with them. He sat with his disciples, and in talking to them, he ended up taking up the bread. And he took it and he blessed it. And then he broke it. And he gave it to them, saying, "Take, eat, all of you. Do this in remembrance of me." And in the very same manner, he took up the cup. And he said to them, "This is the new covenant, sealed in my blood. Whenever you do so in remembrance of me." Please pray with me. Father in heaven, we start our prayers today asking to be reminded that our lives are never completely our own. We were made for community. We were made for communion with you. To help us understand these words, we now stop, we pause, we listen to the wisdom of Pope Francis, who recently put his own twist on an old adage. He said, "Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself. And flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves." Living for others is a rule of nature. We are born to help each other, no matter how difficult it is. We have so many chances, God. We have so many chances to make our lives speak. Open our ears to hear the cry for help from angry voices. Give us your presence and your comfort that we may stand firm with confidence. And in these days where we're all so worn, where we are so at the end of our rope and worn thin by multiple crises and with rising tensions, with frustrations and fears and loss, give us strength. Give us flexibility. Give us resilience. Give us hope when we despair. When we meet others in this life whose pain or anxiety has shut down their ability for compassion, when life or the hard knocks have made them hard or cold, give us patience and give us grace to see them as you do. Make these common everyday things before us, this bread and this cup, a sharing for us today of the real presence of Christ, that somehow in this simple meal we may be made one, that we bring our lives together as one holy community. And we seal these, our prayers, with the one that your Son taught us as we say together, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So friends, when we put ourselves out there over and over and over again, it can be hard for us to continue trusting that the life that we are leading is remaining purposeful, that it is what we want it to be, and especially when everything is so tense around us. We are all carrying so much. Under so many smiles, I see just a facade of other people carrying so much pain. And we may not be able to carry everybody else's baggage. I mean, quite frankly, it's not healthy for us to carry it all for everybody. But that said, patience and compassion go a long way to helping take the load off for someone else. It's not about us holding everybody's problems, but our compassion can open the door for them finding the healing and the respite that they need. It's an important way for our own lives to live beyond ourselves. And through all the highs and the lows of this coming week, I hope you all know, trust, and remember that you are loved exactly as you are. Amen.